Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angryprepper. So today's episode, we're going to talk about the Australian mess. Now, I know that a lot of us have been following what's going on in Australia for a while. We've been watching a lot of fucked up videos about what's going on in Australia. So I think but bad shit is happening in Australia. I don't even want to say I think. We're watching these videos. We're watching a father get tackled by the cops because they wanted him to get the injection, or the daughter wanted. I couldn't understand what was going on. All I know is that the father had to give up his daughter to the two nurses, the doctors, and then the cops fucking tackled him, right? Then we see people, we see them building quarantine camps, excuse me. We saw them building quarantine camps in Australia as well. And we had an actual official talking about how they're building them to quarantine those who have COVID. Guys, that's some crazy shit. The craziest shit is the fact that the Australians are not truly fighting back. Like, I mean, but we saw some videos of them protesting, waving flags and shit and signs and fighting with the cops. But that's not what needs to be done in Australia. That is out. They need to take it the next step ahead. But they are probably not going to do that because they all just want to get along and get back to normal. There is no normalcy. Normal is gone, guys. We're never ever seeing normal again. I don't know how many people need to realize that or don't realize that and need to realize that, that we're never going back to normal. It is out. Just because you get vaccinated, just because you have the vaccine passport, that's not normal, guys. Having a vaccine passport so that you can be let into certain events and or environments is not normal. Sorry. And it's not the new normal, because that's a bullshit term. It is not normal. So normal is gone, and we're going to have to fight for a new America, a new Australia, a new Germany, a new France, a new England. We're going to absolutely have to start fighting this shit out. And we need to get together and rather rally together and change some shit. Because if we don't change it, they're going to change it. And if they change it, guys, we're not going to like the changes that they want and that they're going to make. And we're already seeing those changes in Australia. Now, one of the issues that happened in Australia that really bothered me were 4 newborn babies were essentially killed because they were not allowed to travel due to COVID restrictions. Now, these babies needed a life-saving medical procedure, which was actually for the heart. Because of COVID restrictions, or rather travel restrictions, they weren't able to travel the mainland and get the procedures they needed, and they wind up dying from their heart complications. Again, guys, you're holding travel restrictions out on babies now, and trying to justify it, which of course politicians will always do. They're trying to justify why this happens and that we feel for the family. No, you don't feel for the family, because if you felt for the family, you would have made it happen. You would have made some kind of loophole for them. You would have fucking like, fuck it, they're babies, how bad could it be? Like, no, instead you let them die. That also, guys, they wind up killing rescue dogs, which this part made no sense. They wind up killing rescue dogs because of COVID. Yet when I read the article, to me it read like Chinese. I'm like, where in the fuck did that need to happen, that they needed to kill rescue dogs? Now, I thought it was a bullshit article when I first saw it, but nonetheless, the Australian media is reporting this. Now, the Australian media is reporting this, we're reporting this, so obviously there's got to be some truth to it, right? And guys, killing rescue dogs because of COVID restrictions and or so that people don't go outside makes no sense, makes zero sense. But nonetheless, everything that's going on makes no sense. I guess that makes more sense, that none of it makes sense. So in New South Wales, and Queensland, there's a border where families are meeting and, I guess hugging, crying it out, talking to one another as if they're in prison. And they're meeting. First of all, I don't know how these families got split up, but nonetheless they did. I guess that I'm hoping they're not immediate family, like father, mother split apart because of this fucking COVID restriction. But nonetheless, they have a COVID restriction where there's a border that they can't cross, but they're allowed to meet one another, hug across the borders, but not actually go across the borders, which again makes no sense. I'm really baffled by that one, because it's not a gate, it's a plastic fence that they can blow on and knock off. But nonetheless, that's not what's happening. What's happening is that they're meeting at this border, hugging it out, crying it out, when they could be like, fuck that, and telling the government to go fuck themselves and crossing the borders. But they're not doing that. Again, strange. Also, Australians are now putting up signs, or are expected to put signs up if they're infected. So if they're infected, they have to put a sign on the front of their house stating that they're infected and that they are quarantining. I'm pretty sure that's like putting a yellow star on somebody's home and telling them, guess who lives here? Right? So this is insanity that's going on in Australia. I'm starting to see that, guys, the cops in Australia are the enemy. They are 100% the enemy of the people of Australia, because the cops, the looks in the cops' faces, the conviction in their faces on beating another Australian citizen is insane. They are the enemies. Those cops are the problem, because they are backing the Australian government's bullshit. Guys, Australia, I think, is the model for what comes next for the rest of the world. I think that they're using Australia as a model and going, well, let's see how it works here. And if it doesn't work here, well, we'll revamp it, we'll repackage it, and we'll call it something else, and then we'll see if we can implement more restrictions. Because it's insane what's going on, and that we're actually watching this going on, and the Australians are somewhat displeased with what's going on, but they're not really fighting back. That's the crazy shit. They should be a full-blown civil war right now, and not sitting there, well, let's see where this goes. Where it goes next, guys, is exactly where we don't want it to go. Now, America won't end up in this boat. It'll be harder, for America to end up in this boat because of who we are and what we have. We have firearms. So the fact that we have firearms, the fact that we don't take that kind of shit lightly, means that we have a little more wiggle room to fight against this. Anyway, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching. You can like and subscribe to this channel. You can also follow me, the Angry Truth channel. And other than that, guys, thank you for watching.